Right, let's start this broadcast from across the borders. And more than 250,000 people gathered in St. Peter's Square to bid farewell to Pope Francis, the first South American pontiff, during a solemn and majestic funeral ceremony on the steps of St. Peter's Basilica. The service, attended by dozens of world leaders, marked the end of an era for the Catholic Church as Pope Francis was laid to rest after leading the church for 12 years. The ceremony, which with Gregorian chants and Latin verses, was held against a backdrop of global uncertainty, with geopolitical turmoil and ongoing wars casting a shadow over the proceedings. Among the prominent figures present were U.S. President Donald Trump, President William Ruto of Kenya, and National Assembly Speaker Moses Wetangula. Also attending was Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, who held a brief but a productive meeting with President Trump ahead of the service, their first in-person meeting since a heated discussion in the Oval Office earlier in the year. Now, the event was a mixture of religious devotion and international diplomacy, with reigning monarchs like King Felipe VI and Queen Letizia of Spain joining heads of state in the ceremony. The funeral, which saw a large portion of the crowd seated in rows of chairs organized by the Vatican protocol, was followed by a procession through the streets, with local authorities estimating that around 150,000 people lined the route to Santa Maria Maggiore. The final resting place of Pope Francis is in the historic St. Peter's Basilica, a sacred site for 91 popes have been buried. The basilica is known for its elaborate tombs, some designed by world-renowned artists like Antonio Canova. The tombs of Pope Clement VIII and Paul III are notable landmarks in the church, with their gilded decorations recently restored to former glory. According to the Vatican, Pope Francis had a unique request in his spiritual will. A benefactor would pay his burial, through the identity of this person remains undisclosed. Despite the Vatican's ample resources, Archbishop Rolandas Macricas confirmed that the Pope had instructed him that a generous individual wished to make this gesture. The interment was a deeply moving moment for the faithful, with a small crowd gathering at Santa Maria Maggiore to witness a nun recite the Rosary as Pope Francis was laid to rest inside. The loss of the Pope is felt globally, as his leadership and vision left an indelible mark on the Catholic Church and the world stage. Now, as the world mourns, Pope Francis' legacy of simplicity, pastoral vision, and global influence will continue to resonate in the hearts of millions long after his burial at the feet of St. Peter's. And of course, rest in peace, Pope Francis. Now, moving on, the post-mortem results of the late Kariobangi North MCA Wilfred Munuve had revealed that his cause of death was pulmonary thromboembolism, a condition caused by a blood clot in the pulmonary artery. The clot, which originated from a blood clot in the left leg, blocked the artery, leading to the MCA's untimely demise. 7 pathologists conducted the post-mortem and confirmed that Munuve's death was directly attributed to this blockage. The findings have raised concerns among Nairobi MCAs, who have now pointed fingers at the hospital where Munuve was admitted prior to his death, suggesting that his passing could have been avoided with better medical care and timely intervention. According to the MCAs, the hospital response may have delayed critical treatment, exacerbating the situation and potentially leading to Munuve's death. The revelation has sparked debates about the quality of medical services in Nairobi and the need for improved healthcare standards to prevent similar tragedies in the future. Munuve's untimely death has left the people of Kariobangi North and his colleagues in the county of Nairobi assembly mourning, with many calling for further investigation into the hospital's handling of the case.
By the time he died, there was not much oxygen getting to the body. So we tried to investigate why is it that this person was not getting enough oxygen to the body. So we opened up the body. The main finding were in the lungs, there's a blood vessel called pulmonary artery. This is a blood vessel which blood pass from the heart to the lungs to get oxygen. We saw a very big blood clot there, which was even tightly adherent to the blood vessel.
He sought help from a medical facility. Ideally, it is our expectation, and we really had hoped that if that medical facility had done its homework, maybe Mheshimiwa would have been here and we will not even be sitting here.
We had a consensus that the cause of death of Munuve was pulmonary thromboembolism, which is blockage of the pulmonary artery due to the blood clot in the left leg.
All the pathologists, all of them, they were unanimous. The big English word here is unanimous. They were all unanimous that the cause of death is actually the blood clot that went to the pulmonary artery.
Right, moving on, Deputy President Kindiki has reaffirmed the government's unwavering commitment to fast-tracking development projects across the country, questioning critiques against politicizing the process. Speaking at Kavutiri Primary School grounds in Manyata constituency, Embu County, Kindiki emphasized that unnecessary political interference could derail crucial development efforts and timely hurting the citizens who rely on improving services and infrastructure. He warned that introducing politics into the implementation of government projects would only slow down progress and undermine the administration's goal to transforming lives. The Deputy President urged leaders and stakeholders to remain focused on delivering development and to avoid actions that could or rather would disadvantage the very people they meant to serve.
Ile kazi mlitupatia tunajaribu kuisongesha mbele na tunajaribu tuwezavyo ili wakati mwingine ukifika wa kuomba kura ingine tusikose kitu ya kuambia wananchi. We are working hard, very hard. Ndio wakati wa kuomba kura tuseme mahali tumefikisha agenda ya maendeleo. Si namna hiyo? Kwa hivyo ndio unaona we are very serious, hatutaki michezo, hatutaki kuingiza siasa ya ujinga hapa katikati kwa sababu tutapoteza wakati. Tukiingiza mambo ya ujinga hapa katikati tutapoteza wakati na mwananchi ndiye ataumia. Si namna hiyo? So we are very focused. Kwa sababu hii serikali sisi ndio tulichagua, it is our government. So kazi yetu sasa ni kudai ile mambo tulisema tutafanya, tunakumbushana, tunaharakisha, inafanywa ndio tusonge mbele tukiendelea namna hiyo.
Right, moving on, Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen has issued a stern warning to land grabbers, particularly foreigners posing as investors, vowing that the government will take firm action against them. Speaking after a meeting with the Machakos County Security Committee, Murkomen emphasized that the government is committed to protecting both public and private land across the country. He criticized individuals who, under the guise of investment, seek to illegally acquire land and undermine the rights of genuine owners. Murkomen assured the public that the government is determined to address the land grabbing menace comprehensively and restore confidence in the country's land ownership system.
To occupy private and public land with the intention of grabbing it in the end, because these are gangs who are brought from different parts of the country, and these are squatters who are hired by the Mabwenyenye themselves, who are the actual land grabbers, but they want to use citizens to do that. We had successful removal of these squatters in bracket from the East Africa Portland's land. We still have challenges in many other properties around Machakos, particularly Machakos County. And part of the strategies we are going to listen to the public in this forum is how best we can be able to sort out this issue once and for all. The very few genuine squatters that may be existing, we will make sure that their interests are taken care of. There are also members of public who have been duped, okay, to buy land by dishonest characters who are actually in this business of grabbing land. And those ones who are genuine victims of fraudulent activities by these criminals, we are going also to find ways to make sure that they have been taken care of. However, the rest of the goons and gangs that are grabbing land, some even establishing quarries inside these properties and selling the quarry materials for profit, we are going to deal with it. And I want to tell you that this syndicate that deals with land issues in Machakos is not confined, as I said, to big people alone. They are big business people, they are highly placed politicians, highly placed government officials. We have officers from the Ministry of Lands, we have officers from our ministry, we have police officers, we have administrative officers who are colluding with all these criminals to perpetuate this land fraud. And we have decided from our security briefing today that this issue must be escalated to National Security Council, and we must have one strategy to confront this problem in Machakos.
All right, moving on. Vulnerable groups in Nakuru, led by Tabernacle Widows Home, have endorsed the proposed Social Protection Bill 2025, urging the government to increase cash transfer allocations to shield them from inflation and the rising cost of living. Speaking during International Orphans Day, Pastor Mary Mugambi criticized the stagnation of support funds and flagged serious corruption in the distribution process. She accused some officials of stealing money meant for vulnerable and called for urgent reforms. Pastor Mugambi praised Nakuru Women Representative Lisa Chelule for her ongoing support, while Rogers Osare from her office appealed for more funding under the National Government Affirmative Action Fund. Now, widows like Millicent Juma and Marion Diema shared painful stories of discrimination and cultural injustices, urging the government to make widows more visible and protect their rights. The Social Protection Bill, sponsored by Majority Leader Kimani Ichung'wah, is under review in Parliament, aiming to expand the social safety net for the country's most vulnerable.
There is 90% gap in the government. There is nothing that has been set aside for the orphan, and if it is there, it gets into people's pockets. Bursary is not for everybody. If you are not who you are, if you don't have anybody in the government, then you can't get that. So it is for them that I've got for something like that, because I would say that I got the same problem. My siblings got the same problem. So there's 90% neglection for the orphans in this government. So if we can get people in the government embracing, the very, very vulnerable, neglected orphans in this country, we have a lot of resources. And I wish they could give me that money. Yes, I wish they could give me that money. I would just distribute it to the needy and to where that money is supposed to go. I will take it there. This is a World Day. The government should have set aside money for the same.
Challenges ni nyingi sana, especially sisi Wajaluo, mila. Big thing. Ni kitu mbaya inatumaliza. Yeah. Upande wa serikali, tafadhali tu wangetujali kama wajane. Juu wanasema, but ukifika kwa ground, vitu ni tofauti. Hakuna kenye tunapata. Hakuna, tafadhali ndugu yangu, hakuna, ni ngumu, hakuna.
Male ni Chemasovu Ndiema na Kambasi. Sasa sisi kama wachane, hakuna kitu yenye tumesaidiwa na serikali. Tumesarauliwa sana. Kwa sababu niseme hivyo, nimejiandikisha majina karibu mara 6, nikaandikisha Chisupukia, Kambasi, Bahati, wakiniambianga watanisaidia na wako nisaidia kitu.
Mimi naitwa Vincent Juma kutoka Kaptembwa. Najaribu kuambia serikali jaribu iangalie hao watu sana, sababu wanateseka kuliko hata sijua, na hawezi kutusaidia hata kidogo. Hawatusaidii. Hii shirika najaribu kusema ati waendelee tu hivyo vile wako.
So if we can get people in the government embracing, the very, very vulnerable, neglected orphans in this country, we have a lot of resources. And I wish they could give me that money.
Right, moving on to matters politics, and the Devolution Empowerment Party, that's the DEP, also known as Embers, has announced a break from the ruling Kenya Kwanza coalition, accusing it of sidelining their leadership and ignoring the suffering of ordinary Kenyans. Speaking in Nairobi, DEP leaders including Lenny Kivuti and Kiraito Murungi said the party never signed a formal deal with Kenya Kwanza and will now focus on rebuilding at level grassroots. Now, DEP plans to field a candidate in the upcoming Mbeere North by-elections with the Muminji MCA and a popular musician, Newton Karish, tipped as their favorite. While not ruling out future talks, DEP insists it will only work with Kenya Kwanza if treated as an equal partner.
The Embers Party is non-aligned. The Embers Party is autonomous. The Embers Party is independent. We are currently not in any formal coalition with any political party. And you know, all those agreements, the coalitions, they are all registered with the registrar of political parties. So we have no agreement registered with the registrar of political parties with any party. We don't have such an agreement with UNDA. We don't have such an agreement with NAK Kenya or any other party, for instance. So we stand an independent party, not in any coalition as of now. And what our statement is saying is that getting into coalitions is not our priority now. The merger is out of question because our constitution prohibits the party from merging with another party. So we are saying those coalitions, we can consider them in the future. But for now, our focus is strengthening our party. I'm not talking because of any government position. I'm a chairman of a parastatal. There is no law which shuts the mouth of a chairman of a parastatal from expressing himself on political matters. But here I'm bound by the decisions of my party. I'm bound by the decisions of the Embers Party. So, and the decisions are not just made by the chairman. They are made after consultation by all these members of the party that you see here. And we are a democratic party. So when a party makes a decision, we as members have to follow that decision. We are not ruling any of the political parties out. When the time comes, we can talk to them, depending on how they respect us, how they value us, depending on how our interests and their interests combine or coincide, then we make a decision at that particular time.
What we did that time, yes, we met him, we had a tea in Karen, but we never signed any agreement. In fact, I remember that time, because they had just taken power, people around the president did not even want us to be very near, because that time, you know, they were sharing positions. So people who are perceived to be outsiders, like us, were not very welcome. But things have changed over time. We've seen people have moved on. So we have no agreement, and we're happy that way.
Now, Deputy President Kithure Kindiki has reaffirmed the government's commitment to accelerating development projects across the country, citing the urgency of delivering on promises amid heavy workload. Speaking at Kavutiri Primary School grounds in Manyata constituency, Embu County, the Deputy President emphasized that the administration is working against time to ensure tangible progress is achieved. Addressing residents, Kindiki highlighted the government's efforts to revitalize the coffee sector through ongoing reforms. He noted that the coffee reforms are a key part of the broader strategy to boost farmers' incomes and restore the sector to its former glory. He assured coffee farmers that the reforms will address long-standing challenges in the sector, making coffee farming a viable and profitable venture once again.
Nimefika hapa leo kwa sababu nimeongea na viongozi wenu, nimeongea na governor, nimeongea na Mheshimiwa Karemba, nimeongea na senator, nimeongea na women rep na wale wabunge wengine na MCAs wetu wa Embu. Na tumekubaliana hii wakati Mungu ametusaidia tukazane na maneno ya maendeleo. Tusukume maendeleo ya watu wetu faster kama gari ya muguka. Si namna hiyo? Si namna hiyo? Kwa sababu muda ni mchache na kazi ni mingi. Kanate huo. muda ni mchache, kazi ni mingi. So leo tukakubaliana tuwe na mkutano na wakulima wa kahawa ili tuwaelezee mahali tumefika kama serikali ambayo nyinyi mlichagua kwa upendo mwingi na mkitarajia mambo mengi mfanyiwe. Na by the time tukuje kuomba kura 2022, kahawa ilikuwa inanunuliwa shilingi 30, 40, kama uko na bahati 50. Ni huo kanate huo. Si ni kweli? Miaka miwili tu imepita. 40 shillings, 30 shillings, 50 shillings. Tukasema mkituchagua tutaleta ile tunaita mapato ambaye ni mapato ya kustahili katika kahawa na mimea ile mingine. Kwa kizungu inaitwa guaranteed minimum returns. Tukaandika kwa manifesto, mimi mwenyewe ndio nimeandika manifesto ile. Tukaandika pale at least tutatoa kahawa from 30, 40, 50 shillings to at least 100 shillings per kilo by 2027. Hiyo ndio manifesto ya Kenya Kwanza. Tukasema mambo ya maziwa. Tukasema maziwa ilikuwa 33, 34, 35. Tutahakikisha kwamba maziwa imepanda mpaka 50. Wacha niongee mambo ya kahawa kwanza. Niseme ya kwamba tumesukuma mambo ya kahawa kwa miaka miwili na already tumeipitisha hata ile 100 shillings tulikuwa tumesema.
Now, still matters coffee, and coffee farmers in Uasin Gishu County are celebrating a major boost after receiving more than 160,000 coffee seedlings in a government-backed initiative aimed at revitalizing coffee farming in the region. Speaking during a distribution event, Uasin Gishu Governor Jonathan B. hailed the move, stating that the seedlings would empower farmers to transform coffee into a profitable venture. He emphasized that the initiative is expected to significantly improve livelihoods while also contributing to climate change mitigation efforts. The initiative marks a significant step towards diversifying agricultural activities in Uasin Gishu, a county traditionally known for maize farming. Meanwhile, Turkana Governor Jeremiah Lomorukai, who was on an official visit to Uasin Gishu, called on the national government to extend similar agricultural support in Turkana County. Governor Lomorukai emphasized the need for increased investment in agricultural development in the arid region to boost food security and uplift communities.
We are honored that through Floka, our good partner and a good friend, has given us one of a dream that we need to fulfill now. And we are here to tell our farmers that believe in this administration. What we say, we make sure that we fulfill. And right now, out of the 1 million dream, we are getting now 166 seedlings, so we are cutting short of 1 million. And today, the deputy governor is not here, and some team again, we've gone hunting for coffee seedling. We want to make sure that we create millionaires in Uasin Gishu. That in these 10 years, as I serve here, hopefully, by God's grace, we will make sure that we will have millionaires from the rural areas. Apart from the city center where we are, we need millionaires from farmers. And my dream is I wish to have 30 to 50 millionaires per county. And it is possible with this special plan called coffee.
But God has blessed us with water underground. And those are the miracles that God performs to his people. That we can miss to be getting rain more oftenly in a year, but God provides us water through aquifers. We have the largest aquifer in Turkana, and if that is exploited properly, and that is my plea to our able president, that we need to exploit the water, the aquifer of Lotikipi, that is likely to serve the entire of Kenya for more than 70 years, and it's water underground. And then we have other small aquifers, including the one KVDA is supporting just behind my office in Lodwar. So if we get such water out of the ground, then Turkana County will become a feeding basket for the country.
Today it was engaged.
Right, it is exactly 31 minutes past the top of the hour. That's all to wrap up our bulletin here at EBN Weekend Edition. Of course, many thanks to they that made this particular broadcast a success. And of course, your viewership here on EBN Weekend Edition, of course, goes without saying happy birthday to my very able director, David Njue. You know, we would have sung a song for him, but due to we don't have that particular talent, of course, common cold. Of course, happy birthday, David Njue, and may God continue blessing you and the work that you are doing. My name is Macharia, signing off. Do have yourself a blessed Sunday ahead, and as always, let's do this again when God says we do.